Looks like it is 7, so call the meeting to order and we have the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have the roll call, please?
Mr. Huffman?
Here.
Mr. Schaefer?
Here.
Ms. Dixon?
Here.
Mr. Good?
Here.
Mr. Sowers?
Here.
Mr. Seward?
Here.
Ms. Noack?
Okay, we have the statement that I believe I need to read concerning the continuity and government of the town of Luray. Just a second.
Miss America.
Hello, Grace.
What?
How are you, Grace?
Good evening.
Good evening. Oh, boy. I almost got stopped by the train.
Better than the police.
Oh, any day. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Welcome.
Thanks. Oh.
Okay, again, we have the statement regarding the continuity in government. It says, this meeting of the Town Planning Commission is being held pursuant to April 13, 2020 ordinance for continuity in the government of the town of Luray. The town manager shall read the names of the commission members present and identify those who are electronically present. The town manager is responsible for receiving public comment in advance of the meeting, which may be submitted by mail, email, phone, or hand delivery by 5 p.m. on the day of the meeting. In-person attendance and comment by the public is also permitted, subject to limitations of most recent executive order phasing guidelines issued by Governor Northam. This meeting can be viewed live on the town's Facebook page, and a recording will be made available on the town's YouTube channel. Minutes from the meeting will be posted on the town's website after being approved by the Planning Commission. Okay. All right, we have the minutes from our last meeting on June the 10th. Any corrections, questions?
If everything says approved 6-0, shouldn't it be 7-0? For all of you. If everybody just leave it like
Yes.
You are correct.
Yes. Yes.
that. I just saw the 6-0.
Yeah, that's right. All the approvals, there should be 7 to 0.
Ex-banker.
Current banker, and I didn't get it.
Okay. All right, any other comments or questions on the minutes? Okay, motion to approve.
I motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So that's 7.
Okay, our first item then on the agenda for consideration is a public hearing to amend the code regarding artisan manufacturing. And as we know, this is something that we have talked about for several months. It would amend code sections 202 and 406 regarding artisan manufacturing in business district. Any other information we need on this?
No, sir, and the town received no comments in advance of this meeting.
well, I'll go ahead then and open the public hearing. There's someone here, nobody signed up to speak, but I will officially open the public hearing and then close it. Any discussion that we need to have on this?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the planning commission recommend approval of code amendments to section 202 and 406 of the town code regarding artisan food and beverage and artisan manufacturing as presented.
Support.
Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Noack,
Yes.
Mr. Seward,
Yes.
Mr. Sowers,
Yes.
Mr. Good,
Yes.
Ms. Dixon,
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer,
Yes.
Mr. Huffman.
Yes.
Okay, the other items we have are for either updates or discussions. There are several of those. The first one is considering accessory dwellings in the R2 residential districts. We have a letter, we have a copy of the R2 section of the code, and minutes from the town council meeting on Monday, May the 11th, 2009. In talking to Steve before the meeting, he said something about this town council meeting being 10 years ago. It's kind of hard to realize 2009 was 10 years ago, but it certainly was over 10 years ago. Steve, has there been other input besides the letter that we have?
No, sir. At the council meeting, council I believe some of the members of council currently seated were on council at the time it was denied, and they voiced their concern, but the majority of council did recommend that it come back to the planning commission for consideration. I do believe that at the time that council removed the special use permit consideration from the R2 for accessory dwellings, there was concern that for the potential of these dwellings to be on individual lots, and then there being a chance for them to be sold as an independent dwelling unit. In discussion with Chairman Good, there's also the potential of increased rentals in the R2 medium density district as a result of converting garages or other units on a property into the accessory dwelling. We haven't drafted anything. What we were hoping to hear from the Planning Commission tonight is if there's any specific language, any concerns that you would want us to include in a draft. Effectively, unless there's significant concerns, the draft of a change would simply add in the under 4022 accessory dwelling as one of the items that could be considered under a special use permit in the R2.
I was confused by the letter, honestly, because I didn't understand why, if there's not an issue with a certain thing or request, I don't know why we're kind of looking at it again.
Well, the letter from Mr. Coleman on behalf of one of his neighbors. His neighbor apparently has a garage that they are seeking to convert into a dwelling unit.
I would rather hear from that person than the neighbor, personally.
I understand that. Unfortunately, we have no subpoena power at the Planning Commission level. I can't speak why the individual did not write the letter themselves, but it now rests with you for consideration.
It seemed like the town council was very split on it, and the mayor broke that tie.
Yes.
That was the reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the votes were 3-3, weren't they? Yes. Steve, when you say that there was concern about these dwelling units being on a separate lot, would there usually be square footage enough to have a separate deed like that?
Unfortunately, if there is a lot, an established lot, and there was a dwelling on it, there was nothing to prevent a property owner from selling it as a dwelling. It would effectively become a non-conforming lot of record. Now, that can be one of the stipulations if it was to be considered under the special use, would be that the special use could only be approved if a lot consolidation was completed so that the accessory dwelling was on the same lot as the primary dwelling. That can be accomplished to rectify that concern.
So, Mr. Chairman, our course of action would be either to submit a recommendation to the council that they consider this, or that we take no action on this request. Would that be right?
Yes, because it would require, this particular request here would require that the code be changed.
I guess my question is, if we feel this has not come from a property owner that wants to do this, and if we feel it's not the proper thing, we just take no action on it and move to the next topic, right?
That's correct.
I'd feel much more inclined to do something if the property owner came to make that request of the property.
I would agree with you, John.
So I'm
Like, because it approved.
not in favor of that.
If that is the consensus of the planning commission, I can respond to Mr. Coleman requesting the property owner to attend our next meeting, if that would assist y'all in the consideration of
I
this.
find it dubious that they surveyed the whole R2 and come up with that determination. I'd like to hear from the people
We can make that request.
And also if we have a request from the actual property owner, then we can go take a look at that property if we feel like we need to. We can have the tax map info and photos that we can have from the GIS system and all. We'll have something specific to look at.
But what Mr. Coleman is asking is not specific to this one individual property. It would be district-wide if you were to consider that use. And again, that was my understanding of the council's concern at the time, was that there were more than one garage or potential accessory dwelling unit that existed on an independent lot, that it would become burdensome for the town if it was considered.
I think it's too broad. I'd like to look at individual cases.
I continue to be concerned about the density problem, and don't feel we should take any action on this. It's just,
Because nobody's here. I mean,
All right, if that's the consensus, then we will move on. We'll move on to the,
do you need a motion?
there's nothing to say. It was considered and no action was taken.
Okay.
so Okay, we do have some info too on updating the town zoning map.
Yes, sir. It's been 4 years since the town has updated our official zoning map, and during that time, there's been a few rezonings. We are in the process of compiling that and working with the county GIS manager to develop a draft map for y'all's consideration. We simply wanted to let you know that we are working on that, and that if y'all have any recollection or specific rezonings that we should consider, please let us know. The biggest items that we know of are the this is actually an updated map that's not the official map. The lower right where Dean Park is was not on the official map. Some of the area over on the left, over where LFCC is being constructed, has been there's been some rezonings to from the planned neighborhood back down to a business, and then that appears to be the majority of the changes that have occurred. But again, as we move forward, we will have a map of the approved map, as well as where we think we'll need to go, or where conditions currently are.
To adopt the map once it's all done. Is that something that needs to be advertised for public hearing?
I believe it does. I'll have to confirm that. When we get closer to having a finalized map, we'll confirm that. I know it has to be recommended for approval by the Planning Commission and then taken to council. I don't know, to be honest with you, if it does require a public hearing or not.
And the other zoning ordinance amendments, are we still waiting?
We are still waiting. We have again inquired to the state as to their review of our proposed updates to the floodplain regulations, and we've not heard anything again with the state and their the response to COVID with folks working remotely. I don't know that we'll have a timely response from them about those changes, but we will continue to prod, and we will let you all know if we hear anything.
That reminds me, my daughter needs to have something done to DMV. She needs to go in person, so she has requested an appointment. She has one sometime in September. She tried another DMV, that would be October. She's still waiting. She'll be still waiting also. And then she also needs to do a similar thing with Social Security. She can't even find out if they're open, or how she can't do it online. She can't even find out anything from Social Security.
Local governments tend to all be open if it's any reflection on the dedication of local government staff.
Yes. Okay, are there other matters we need to be brought up to date on?
Not unless the commission has any concerns.
Any requests for updates or concerns or anything like that?
We always welcome any updates.
Well, LFCC, the construction is moving along. We've had 3 zoning permits for new home construction issued in the past month and a half. That doubled the number of new homes that we've issued permits for in this year, and that increased by 6, the number that we issued from last year. So there is still a strong demand for new homes in Luray.
And the apartment project out here at the airport, is that still?
It is still progressing. People Inc. has submitted a lease agreement for the property because the town was awarded the CDBG grant for the utility and parking improvements. We have to technically have control of that area, and then we have to bid the work. So they have submitted a draft that our attorney is reviewing, and the expectation is that they will be, we will be advertising for construction in the fall, if everything goes according to plan.
And speaking of the airport, I know there's some projects that are being finished up or have been finished.
The airport has installed a new hangar for rental planes, as well as a hangar for airplane maintenance. And yes, I believe those are pretty much, they're well under roof and all but done.
And there was an apron or?
The apron extension was completed as well. And now they're working on a design for a terminal.
You can rent planes now?
I don't know that you can rent them.
You just don't want to rent the hangar.
Yes, you can rent the hangars. You have to buy the plane first, yes.
That's, the
All right, any other concerns, questions, updates? Okay, if not, I think our next meeting is August the 12th. Completed our agenda, so unless I hear something else, we are adjourned.